Hey friends, my name is Waylon Lewis with Elephant Journal, and today we're going to talk about climate crisis and how to talk to children about it. So this is interesting to me because it just came up with a dear friend of mine. She and her husband, who's also a dear friend of mine, have three incredible kidsies who are super fun and sweet and smart. And I think right there you kind of have the answer to the whole video, so now you can just hang up, which is children are smart. So they know when you're kind of avoiding something. They know when you are fooling. They know when you're being a weird adult. Children know, but they can't be empowered. They may know something's a little off or hidden, but they can't be empowered unless you actually talk to them. And you'll see this in a lot of people who are great with kids or respect kids or like kids. You can get down on their level height-wise and just talk to them. Or if you're being 6'3" and talking down at them, you still aren't condescending. You're humorous, you're genuine, you're honest. And that can include saying no, right? It can be happy, it can be hard, but it can just be respectful. And I think mainly, this is a silly video to do because many adults don't care about climate change or the climate crisis. But we here at Elephant don't prioritize the Facebook algorithm or the Instagram algorithm. We prioritize our mission. So the climate crisis is a terrifying thing. So the concern with children is you don't want to just terrify them and then leave, right? That's not a good process. Why is climate change terrifying, you may ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. So let's say billions of people, let's just start by saying billions of people in India and China and the surrounding neighborhood are going to lose their water supply, meaning the ice caps in the Himalayas, like they're already starting to, frankly, and it'll happen within a few decades. That is billions of people without a stable water supply. When a society doesn't have its basic stuff, it becomes real life Walking Dead real fast. I think there's some expression that says society, the best society, the most stable society, is only 3 meals away from revolution. So if you don't have food, if you don't have health care, if you don't have reasonably safe streets in at least part of the society, if you don't have the ability to go to sleep because things aren't safe, if you don't have water, things get real dangerous real fast. But that's not all. Billions of people around the world get their protein, get their food, get their calories from fish. Guess what's happening to the oceans? They're heating up and acidifying. Coral reefs are all dying. Fish are all being overfished to the point where we're fishing babies of fish. We're not even letting them grow up. So without getting all Beto O'Rourke with my hand gestures, I think this is a big deal. We're looking at a very near future where, it's so hot now in parts of the US in the summer that in Colorado, we can't breathe the air outside for a month a year. We have a smoke advisory warning on our phones. That's what that means, where they say, stay inside, as if indoors is separate from outdoors. Really? Long term, it's not. Short term, it definitely can be safer. Because we get so much smoke from the wildfires in California and Oregon. This is Colorado. We're pretty far away. So there's a lot of terrifying aspects. If you want to talk about rising oceans, we're in the 6th extinction. Not just bloggers call it this, scientists call it this, right? Where so many animals, so many insects, so many birds, they're all connected. It's all in the ecosystem. So if you find yourself getting a little bit depressed and you want to go back to watching Big Little Lies, I get it. This is how it feels. So as Bianca just said, and I'm in love with Bianca, I have an internet crush on Bianca suddenly. She says it's a big deal for sure, and we all need to come together and make the change. People need to stop denying that climate change is a real thing. And it's not just climate deniers need to stop it. We who respect science need to stop driving all the time. We need to stop buying food that's traveled 1,500 miles on average. We need to support local. We all say farmers market is expensive. You know it's expensive? Not being able to get food at all. Get local food that doesn't create the carbon. If you're flying, everyone loves to fly. Travel can be good. Offset it. We need to do, this is like all hands on deck time. We're not at the point now yet where we're shuffling the deck chairs on the Titanic, as the expression goes. We still have some time to save our society. And by our society, I mean the world, which is not flat, by the way, the globe. But it's going to get at least a couple degrees hotter, which is super significant. We're losing millions and millions of pine trees, right? Because the pine beetle no longer freezes in the winter. Anyway, we know hopefully all this stuff. There's so many endless effects I could talk about. Like animals are being born a week or two earlier, meaning they're now getting mowed down by the tractors in the farm fields, where they used to be born right after the mowing. Like everything's getting out of sync. Yeah, going vegan is a huge way to help. But if you're vegan and you're eating plastic and you're eating monoculture crops and you're eating palm oil, it's still way better. It's still minimized, but it's, vegans, I'm vegan, we can get sort of self-righteous. And if vegans are flying and, doing this and that, it's a holistic thing. It's not just one thing. So often people get into this thing like, oh, we're not going to be perfect, right? Well, we're not talking about being perfect. We're just talking about enjoying life fully, celebrating, being mindful, and buying secondhand, doing anything. There's so many, all of you have solutions. Maybe put one solution in there. Be like Martha's on. Put one solution in there. But let's bring it back to the children. So I was talking with this mother, and again, her husband is also a dear friend, and the 3 children are awesome. And I started talking to the kids about, I was saying, which is better, trash, recycling, or compost? These are smart kids. And they said compost. And I said, why? And they said, because compost means it just becomes the earth again. And that's exactly right. Recycling is almost pointless. If it's glass, maybe it's okay, it's less toxic, but plastic usually doesn't even get recycled. We are shipping it to China for 1 million years. And you want to talk about inequality and privilege? Having people in other countries take care of our old computer parts or our trash, our recycling, that's not ideal, right? So we need to take care of our own stuff. So stop thinking plastic is a moral choice, right? So that may sound, kind of Portlandia to say, but sadly it's kind of true. And plastic is petroleum, right? Plastic is directly related with climate change. Anyway, so when you talk with a child about that, and you're respectful and you talk about solutions and how their generation can be the inspirations, and they're going to be the ones living in the worst of this, and then their children after that, right? So there's going to have to be rapid adjustments. But before you get too hopeless, let's remember every tree is literally reversing climate change. A mature tree, like a fully grown tree that we're cutting down casually in Boulder all the time, not just because they're sick, but just for like landscaping and construction, and like a new bike path. We just cut down 100 trees. A mature tree sucks carbon out of the air. It puts out clean oxygen. That the oxygen you're breathing right now is from trees, basically. And it provides shade in a heating planet. And it creates habitat for wildlife. It's literally magic, a tree. So we can do that. We can support regenerative agriculture, which my man Beto is always talking about. It's really exciting to hear presidential candidates, not Donald Trump, not only talking about not getting out of the Paris Accords or putting industry heads in charge of the EPA, but literally talking about regenerative agriculture, fighting climate change in very practical ways. It's an inspiring time. The human species may love to procrastinate, as we've done, but we also are really good, as we did in World War II with FDR's leadership, at acting when it's pretty much too late. And it's pretty much too late. So get ready for some sudden action. Just like with racism, one of the two parties, who will go unnamed, will realize that it's been on the wrong side of history, and it's going to no longer be okay. Just as it's no longer okay to be openly racist and be in a place of power. Oh, wait. Wait, my theory doesn't seem to hold true. It's going to stop being okay to be against climate change. And it already is in reality, but only half of us live in reality. And by half, I don't mean Democrats. I mean just half of our minds, half of the time. So yeah, if the sound is bad, that could be on your end, it could be on my end. I apologize in any case. I can hear myself. My computer is fanning. It's not on the speaker. Anyway, so to conclude, I think the most inspiring point is to talk to children directly with respect, with a sense of humor, with a sense of empowerment. The children were ranging from 2 to, I think 10 was the oldest, and maybe 8. I'm not sure how old Brooke is, but they're awesome, and they're all super present, and they're all super awake. And children can either be trained to, like, you can go to the fun store down here where everything is made in China and plastic, and we can go nuts and like want to buy stuff, or we can go to a mall and want to buy everything, or we can kind of train, and I don't mean that in a condescending word, train as an empower, guide our children to care and to be the leaders. Like, who knows Greta Thunberg? That lady is literally at the Davos conference, right? Davos. And she's literally lecturing directly, fearlessly, and peacefully, in a strong sense of peaceful, the billionaires there and the leaders of industry. So it's a very exciting time where children, like with, what is it? Fridays for Extinction. What is it called? Fridays for Future, whatever. The movement Greta and others now are leading to boycott school on Fridays and protest about climate change. They are going to have to lead and guide us, and we are going to have to get out of their way, because we have stood in the way too long, not only of our children's future, but of our planet's health. And it will affect us directly, but we are going to have to learn, get inspired, and share that inspiration. We shouldn't avoid talking about the devastation that can happen to the planet, to society with children. We just have to put it in the context of truth and of empowering them for solutions. So avoiding talking about the reality of it is irresponsible, and it's a little bit Disney. Like Disney, not in the old classic sense, but in the fake happy, like on TV Disney. So yeah, Nicole, I'm not afraid to call out Republicans personally, but I know a lot of Republicans who respect science and who don't respect Trump. And yeah, should they stand up against Trump? Sure, but it's hard to do that when you're, and this comes back to media, when all you're getting fed is Fox News every day. So by the same token, I hope liberals don't just feed themselves liberal media. We need to pay attention to journalism, to truth. And truth is what will set us free. As a society, it'll empower our children, and it'll save our whole planet. So thank you so much, and big love. Until next time.